Come with me. We're gonna see. You're gonna listen audibly. It's the Guy in a Basement podcast. All right. Back from the dead in a fucking casket, laying risen in this spooky ass month of October. It is your Wagon Meister Nick, and this is another episode of the Guy in a Basement podcast. Awesome. Welcome back, everybody, whoever will be watching or listening or in the future, whatever. With me today, I have a returning guest. Hey, what's up, Ian? How's it going?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, my guy.
Hey, man.
I'm so happy to be back. It's really love these things, you know?
Yeah, dude.
It's been a long time. I think it's been like half a year since the last time I was on here.
There you
Just
go.
checking with our Discord chat.
That exactly, man.
Yeah.
How's life out on the West Coast there, if I might ask?
Well, it's been very northwesty indeed. Like, it's been signature northwest weather. It is windy. It is raining. I am shivering at 5 a.m. and you know, we don't really use umbrellas here. That's how you can tell a foreigner from a tourist. A tourist from like someone local here. You know, if they use umbrellas and they're not carrying a backpack,
right,
they're from somewhere else.
I
mean, if they are wearing an umbrella, yeah.
Ah, that makes sense. That's so funny. That's
all
like
you gotta
do
is wear a good jacket.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's just investment.
I actually.
Right.
Yeah, I gave away my umbrella. I donated my umbrella like a year and a half ago, and an umbrella ended up in my house.
That's
but
pretty
we don't
wild.
really use it.
That's really weird, but I mean, there you go. I mean, if you're not gonna, then why would you care to use it? You know, whatever.
Right.
But there you go. I'm
we just
happy
need a good jacket.
Right. I'm happy things are going well for you. It sounds like, you know, just fall weather in, you know, the Northwest. So that's awesome.
Classic
man.
Northwest, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's been getting
How are
cool.
you?
Oh, it's great. New job.
Yeah.
Got new hobbies, feeling optimistic, feeling getting good. And I can talk about that stuff too, but I'm just doing good, man. Things are going well, and life goes on. Life goes on.
Indeed, it does, and you know, I appreciate that you're doing well. You share all that information with me, cause you know, hasn't been easy, but it's been well. You know, just can't help but feel blessed in some ways and burdened in others.
Right.
But I think it's like, you know, it's good to stay positive, you know. And I like that you bring up new hobbies. I didn't pick up any new hobbies, but you know, you end up going back to those hobbies that, you know, give you that, like,
absolutely,
you know, like they fill your cup, you know, they replenish you mentally and emotionally.
Well, there you go. Like, that's, you know, that's absolutely it. I think that's a great thing to start on, because like I have also started getting back into my old hobbies. Like, it is,
yeah.
You know, before I started working, I've just been like reading like a fucking librarian. Like, it's been horrific how much I've been reading. That's not like it's a bad thing, but like, fuck me, man.
A little much. Like a little much.
Like, I think I've read well over 120 books this year, which is like, that's great. But at the same time, it's like,
that's great.
Holy fuck. Do you have a social life? And I'm like, no, because I don't have money.
Aww.
But
the fucking truth.
Yeah, there you go. Come to this podcast for the hard truth. Hey, viewer, what's up? Welcome to the show. So, what about you? What hobbies have you been getting back into?
It's really funny that you bring up reading. So I took a vacation in June. Visit my first time in San Diego in June since 2020. Past June, it's my first time in like a year and which was really nice. I spent a week and then some change there.
Right.
And what was really nice was one. I mean, I don't think I lost it as a hobby, but I really love cycling. Right.
Right.
But I didn't really have a bike down there, so I was like, oh, dude, my form of exercise is just gone. What do I do? So I went back and started. I did one run after
Ooh.
not running for a while. Purely cycling. It's different muscles, different shebang.
Right.
And the next following day, I felt like a 58-year-old man. I was like, oh, my knees are killing me.
There you
So
go.
one thing that I started getting back to, that's now that you bring it up, is very recently I started getting back into some stretching before bed because I
Ooh.
was like, oh my god, I should not feel this way after a run. I am not I am not unfit. Like, what the hell?
Right.
And it only took me well, that was in June, right? It only took me 4 months to be like, you know what, I should stretch. And because a friend and I also recently did a new personal record ride of 90 miles in a single day,
Right.
and then felt like not like shit the next day, but I was like, I should probably stretch. I'm not 15 anymore where I can just bang myself against the rock and feel fine. So
Yeah.
stretching, you could call it almost like meditative stretching, but I don't think I'm going as far as doing the
Maybe you
the,
would call it like
the breath.
mindful
Just
stretching then, because it's like not like you're doing like, I don't know, pranayama yoga, like where you're doing the deep
Mhm.
breathing exercise to get high while you're stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's not that. It is not that. It's like, oh, this feels good, but it hurts. We got to keep doing it.
Oh, for sure. Totally. Totally. I mean, I get it. But
Yeah.
that's great, man. I've been working out a lot too. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I've lost since May. I was 260 in May, and now I'm like in the 210s.
Oh, that's freaking fantastic! Holy shit! What that 1 2 6 that's 50 pounds. That's
Just
gnarly,
about. I'm
dude.
getting close
Nice.
there, man, from where I started.
Hell yeah! That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's great, dude.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I love your optimist like way of saying it too. You know.
It is a process. It's not like I'm gonna keep working towards becoming the better version of myself, and it's every day.
Yes, that's what we need.
There you go. Hey,
Yeah.
follow me on Instagram. If I'm feeling optimistic, I'll post a picture and say, "Here's what I'm thinking," and people can be like, "Oh, that helps."
Luckily, I'm a longtime follower, so
Cheers, man.
booyah.
Absolutely, to you as
Hell
well.
yeah.
To you as well.
Hell yeah.
All right. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of like indie gaming. First, I haven't. I listen. I have this awesome computer and I have my gaming system and I love them
Yeah.
to death. But I just haven't feeling the vibe. But now that I'm back into work, I'm like, okay, I feel like I want to play a video game. I feel like I want to do this. I feel like I want to do that. So it's like
Yeah.
that offset. I just need that offset, or I'm just like, I'm gonna read, or I'm gonna do this all the time. So it's nice to
Yeah.
get that varied response. I'm really happy it's gone back.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you have really nice balance of like, you just maybe came back from work, you did some work. All right, maybe I am feeling that game. I am feeling that, but you should treat yourself.
Absolutely.
And the reason I brought up the cup earlier is because I just read an article, and like, maybe this could be segueing
Mm-hmm.
much later on to another topic.
Right.
But how to deal with burnout, and the
Mm.
work-life balance. Thinking yourself as a cup. If working is like, it drains your cup, and the water's all the nice goody stuff.
Right.
The work is gonna drain the water from your cup. But then we gotta responsibly fill it with the things that we like to do that are healthy, but also like, you know, pleasurable. Get those nails done. Eat that slice of pizza. Play that video game. Read that book.
There you go.
And so it sounds really nice that you got that, because I feel like a lot of people, when they start a new job, I know I did. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. When they start a new job, you go headstrong into like, I'm gonna do these things and
Right.
that and
Right.
that to make myself efficient, an amazing worker, and that I'm doing a darn great job out X thing that you are doing. So I appreciate that you still have that balance. An example for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to throw it out there. I mean, I'm just enjoying life, man. And I think that's
Oh
the
yeah.
thing you got to do is you need to work, but it's like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Thank you, The Shining. But
Yeah.
It's just important to have balance. I think you can't throw yourself too much into one thing. You will burn out. Like you said, you're gonna burn out, and it's gonna hit you hard. And if you're doing something you
Yeah.
like, that sucks to burn out on it, And I've been there. I think everyone's been there at least once in their
Yeah.
life. So there you go.
Sadly,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, like I've come very close to a very empty cup to the point that it's gonna crack.
Oh, dude, that's harsh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
It's
to hear
so
that.
harsh. It's like when you just everything becomes so unenjoyable, and then I really can't I can't self-diagnose or self-describe what actually happened. That is, I just stop feeling that way. We
Right.
all go through low periods. It's important to not make on the whim life-changing decisions like I'm just gonna quit and then regret it later, or like I'm gonna go do thing, and it's like, oh fuck, maybe I'm just going through a tough period.
Right. That's entirely a possibility. And
Yeah.
just gotta, you gotta roll with it if that happens. But hopefully it doesn't. Got some more viewers. Hello, welcome to the show. We're talking about burnout.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
another thing I've been picking up is I've been studying like this is actually probably like my first coming out of being honest about this. I've been studying like high magic. If you have if you know people like Damien Eccles or like it's like psychological techniques through the lens of spirituality.
Oh, okay.
Like deep
Yeah,
focus
I've never tapped into that.
Yeah, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. And but I've been learning a lot. I've been studying and practicing, and
Cool.
it's fun. It's good for myself. And some people, it's
Yeah,
like
that's
like how the
important.
witch talk thing that happened a couple years back, and how like now like the new age crystals and tarot and whatever. Like I have my own little piece of the pie there in that, and that's fun. I mean, I don't want. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not what this episode is about. I'm just like saying that's another big thing that I've been practicing. So it's like spirituality is like super key. I think finding that balance, because it's like then it's like that's a fulfilling thing. So I can throw myself in just stupid tasks or these fun little things that it's like whatever. I'm playing a video game. It's like, what's the point of it? To fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, there we go. It's like enjoy to have fun. Hey, if it's good for you and you're learning about yourself, and you're learning about other cool things that interest you, dude, all the way, dude. Just go through all the way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, man. It's pretty fucking cool. I always feel super calm and energetic after, and like I feel like it's done a lot to help me out along the way. It's just cool.
Very, very mindful of you. I like that.
Thanks, man. Thank you. So,
Hell yeah.
we kind of talked about this going in and work and stuff. So, you brought up a wonderful topic in our pre-show conversation. Are you ready to dive into that topic?
Oh yeah. It's hot and it's controversial and it's happening right now. And I'm finding a hard time finding my position here in a way. Yeah. So I was talking, so for viewers here, we were talking right before we went live. We were talking about the Great Resignation of 2021.
Yup.
And it goes, hand in hand. What we just, my voice cracked. It goes hand in hand with what we just talked about, the burnout,
Mm-hmm.
all the personal stuff behind it. The thing with the Great Resignation is that it's not entirely about that these people are, they're not punishing themselves or they're not finding work-life balance. It's the fact that they're unresourced to even do that. They're not paid well enough to even do that. So I thought it'd be a very spicy topic because I've delved into r/, anti-work on Reddit, where I would say it's one of the hubs of the Great Resignation. It is one of the hubs of the Great Resignation. People are going vocal about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty interesting topic to talk about. Not to make anyone want to like quit their jobs or anything. In fact, it's like the opposite of my man here with a new job. And me over here, still in the same spot, but we growing. Cheers to that. What's the Meister drinking, by the way?
So this is a local brew out of Denver. called
That's
it's
sick.
called Prost, and it's their Martzen, which is like their Oktoberfest. They release like 4 different drinks
Nice.
seasonally, and they imported all of their brewing equipment from Germany.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, dude.
Traditional. I like it.
If you come out, if you and your lady come out, I'll have to take you down.
Oh,
Local
I need
breweries
to
and
be
stuff.
there.
Yeah, man.
Hell
Come,
yeah.
just bring your heavy stuff in winter and experience the snow, and we'll just do whatever. Go Denver
I
or
love
something.
winning. Hell
Cool.
yeah.
So, do you want to do your take first? Do you want me to kind of do my thoughts on it?
Sure. I brought it up. I don't mind talking about it. I guess I'll just talk about what I have read. I
Mm-hmm.
could talk about my own experience because I'm not, how's this? I'm also, I could call myself part of the movement too because I went through something very similar
Right.
prior to it being even
Uh huh.
called the Great Resignation
Right.
earlier this year in the beginning of 2021. So basically, I'll go again. You know, a lot of people are resigning from their jobs because they feel it is unpaid, unfair management,
Mm-hmm.
um, lack of benefits, overworking, bad scheduling. X reason why. You know, and it's the thing that makes it more common is not only do we have statistic of it, is that it it's becoming vocalized. People aren't just resigning and then finding another job. It's people being very vocal about their experience. It is them resigning, finding another job, and then talking about their story and finding other people relate to their story about why it happened. And that's the whole point of r slash answer work,
Mm.
which the one of the best terms that I've ever heard it being reduced to is that the age of the customer is over. That the age of the customer always being right is over. It's a sham. It's
Mm-hmm.
created a population of disrespectful customers. It's created an age and an environment of managers and management directors
Mm-hmm.
that use their workers like a tool
Right.
to prove that the customer's right, to please people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with the pleasing, they wanted to bring in profit. That's the whole basis of it: profit, profit, profit at the expense of the workers, and you know, created this idea that the customer is always right. And
Yeah.
anyone that's worked in retail knows damn straight that the customer is not always right. The reason you work, the reason you work in what you work is because you are the expert in what you are working in.
Yeah.
Of course, they're not gonna let you out on. They're not gonna let you out on the restaurant not knowing what the hell to do. You have to be trained, and then you do your thing,
Yep.
making you more have more experience than they do at the thing. You
Right.
know, at least in the moment. Of course, maybe you're serving an old man that's worked in retail for 40 fucking years, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case. That's not his place to be so righteous asshole.
Right.
And so what they also said in the subreddit is that the age of the customer is over and it is now the age of the employee. It is time that you actually look after your workers. The initial movements of the progressive era at the beginning of the 20th century were not enough. That's just the beginning to what led to like this.
Yep.
Anyone with basic history would know that.
Yep.
So it's quite interesting to see the stories that show up on there. I feel pretty much blessed that my story is not as bad as the ones you see on the subreddit. If anyone could, I feel like you'll find a really just bad one within a minute of scrolling if we all just went there right now.
Oh, I'm
It's just
certain.
just bad. And that's why, I feel kind of lucky, but in a way, thinking back, if you think about the Great Resignation movement and right now for what it stands for, and even chronologically, time wise, when I had moved jobs and when this started happening, it makes me part of the movement too, because you I left the job I was unhappy at before at
Right.
the end of 2020, and it was stay and do your service, be there for them. But I was like, hey, I know I can be there for you all, but I'm not being for me at this point. I wasn't there. That Ian that first started wasn't there anymore. So yeah, so I guess it goes in with personal story, and I guess what that means is I should just tell it. I used to work at a different childcare center for those that don't know who they might be watching. Um, and at the end of the pandemic year of 2020, it started getting, you know, not enjoyable. The restrictions were easing up. They shouldn't have really, but they started easing up towards December of 2020, which made things in a way easier because we don't have to be so, up the ass about cleaning, keeping kids separate, masks on, the food. But there was a certain personal element that didn't feel like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Or and then it was, do I want a different job? Do I want to switch careers? Um, and again, now we're 9 months past this, but
Yeah.
I didn't switch careers. I just switched, workplaces, institutions.
Right.
I went from one school to a different. And even literally, I worked at one city and I work at another. It was quite a drastic change, but a good change nonetheless.
Mm.
So yeah, again, that lack of enjoyment plus the stress behind it and the smaller pay and the fact that I had to commute out to a different city without a car, blessed with public transportation, but without a car,
Right.
for like 8 to 9 hours a day in a different city it's like, this isn't worth it, this isn't worth it, it's not sustainable.
You have
I,
dignity.
you know,
You have a dignity
I
to live and not have to suffer
thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. So, yeah, I pretty much went through with it. And I did it in the most graceful way possible. I was like, you know what? I'm telling you all now. And I won't quit. My final day won't be until a week after we come back from winter break. Because I'm
Mm.
not just going to have you all look for someone over break like that and just leave you hanging. I had the respect for the place too. So I was like, you know what? I'm
Nice.
telling you now. Here's my letter, but it won't go into effect until this day, and I'll stay here through and through. And like, you know what? Thank you. It was really sad though. It's not like I disliked anyone there. It was like, it's just overall, it ain't working out anymore. And if it
Right.
ain't working out, and I guess for any viewer that might feel this way about the job, if it ain't working out for you, you can't be the most productive and their best worker if it ain't working out for you. You know, there is some truth to, if you work a job in your life, it won't feel like you're working at all. But I feel you got to enjoy it, and it has to sustain you.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And both things were lacking in the moment.
There you go. Work should be something that fulfills you. Work should be something that you find, you see yourself in and enjoy it. That's why, um, if you allow me a quick historical quote here, um,
Please.
that's why Karl Marx said the worker feels alienation because in the past people used to put so much time into what they do and they could see it. Like if you're a farmer, you spend all your farming, you're gonna sell your crops to some fucker to get through the winter, and you know how appreciative that person's gonna be. That's like, oh, you just gave me enough grain to survive the winter, man. Thank you. Or hey, I make chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and you spend all that time, you can see yourself in the chair, all the effort you put in, and you know what? And someone buys it, and it's like, this is a fantastic fucking chair. Thank you very much. Now it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like, put your thing in. I was like, fucking do your job. You're out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And it's like, that's what it's become to.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like the contemporary version. But even 100 years ago, we haven't seen much change in regards to how that is.
Oh yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. The way that we treat people like machines,
Mm-hmm.
the two, you're out, just bring the next 17-year-old willing to work.
Right.
At least for a lot of these retail jobs, is because, a lot of the people that are resigning, a great deal of them are very young people.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think majority are young people, young adults, really young
I
people
think it's
too,
like
quitting their like jobs. Yeah.
Zoomers, and even probably some of those Gen Alpha, which I gotta be honest, I think generations are a fucking scam by the by fucking branding companies and like
Oh,
test
yeah.
group people, or like fucking, if you ever watch Mad Men, those fuckers are the ones who invented that shit. It doesn't exist. Like my therapist, I have more in common with him, even though he is a conservative, right-wing person. And I agree with him on all the big issues. We disagree on minutia, but we agree that things need to change and for the better for most people. It's like, there you go. There's the line that needs to be drawn. There's fucking solidarity.
Yeah, and it's really divisive too.
Yeah.
To say that, over something that people don't necessarily control. Like, yeah, you were born in 95, 96, and it's like, oh, all the boomers, all the Gen Zs, with their TikTok and stuff.
Oh
and
no,
it's like,
man!
No,
I was born in '94. Now I'm feeling old, young man.
Hey, young man, you're only 3 years older than me. Stop.
I don't know, man. You're okay. So I'm like on that. Okay, again, I told you I don't believe in this, but like, if it exists. If it exists, apparently I'm on the transitory mix between the two. You're a solid, old Zoomer. I'm a fucking young millennial. Like a young-ass millennial. Like the last... And those fuckers keep changing it. I was looking at these charts, and you know how they say, Gen X was, 1965 to 1980? They pushed back millennials to fucking 77, and all I can think is, you dirty fucks! You dirty fucks are stealing from them. It's like, you can't even make a fucking, decision on this.
Yeah, I've heard that they've gotten a lot younger.
Yeah.
That they've gotten a lot, not younger, they've gotten a lot older with it. And I'm like, what the hell? Can they just do that?
Right.
Just do that? I mean, they're going to, of course, pull something that's, where the researchers, we found this, and that. And then I'm like, that's so strange. I always thought millennials were a little bit younger. But yeah, no, you're definitely right on me being an old Zoomer because I don't know how to use Zoom.
There you go. You know how to use TikTok, and I
actually don't use TikTok.
Good for you. I do not. I do not either. I refuse to.
My partner does though.
Really?
She stopped. I think she stopped.
Okay.
She's not in the state right now.
There's nothing wrong with TikTok. It's just very silly.
There's nothing wrong.
It's very silly. But then again, all social media
and it is
silly.
definitely transforming a generation, I will say.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. All social media. TikTok is changing a generation of children and of actually children. There are children in there too. That it's changing a generation of young folk, and it's for the good and the bad, just like Facebook was when we started signing up. So
that's true. That's true.
Don't freaking judge. To all the older people out there.
I can't. I mean, shit. Think about it like this. If you were someone who fought in World War II, you thought the fucking boomers were like, oh my gosh, they're holding fucking hands. That we're gonna fucking, there's gonna be nukes in the ground and the devil's gonna rise from the ashes of society. Look how far we've come.
Oh yeah. And look how far, look how little we've actually progressed in some ways.
That is also exactly
impressive how we do both.
We've regressed. If you want to talk about a fucking story that goes into this Great Resignation, apparently in Minnesota or Wisconsin, one of those states, they are making child labor legal again.
I saw that. I fucking saw that.
Yeah, and they're going to basically say, so you guys, we're going to try and make it illegal for the federal minimum wage to affect you guys the first 90 days. So we're going to pay you $4.50 instead of $7.50 at least. It's like, holy shit! What the fuck?
Who the hell allowed this? Isn't there federal law against that? Can't pass. They can't pass it.
No,
Please don't tell me it already passed.
Dude, that's the unfortunate thing, man, is because think about how much gerrymandered nonsense and how crazy these cultists are that have driven people out from mid-level state positions and low-level and so on, like the election officials. This is the coup. The coup wasn't the fucking people attacking on the 6th. The coup was fucking scaring the shit out of people who would do their job responsibly until it's all just fucking psychos. I mean, I live in Wyoming. I live in Wyoming, right? Liz Cheney is now the most heroic fucking member of the fucking Republican House people, which is fucking insane first and foremost. Secondly, I can't believe I'm fucking proud to say that she's my fucking representative, because she's the only one with a fucking backbone against these fucking monsters. You know how weird that is?
Dude, it's crazy with how...
I mean, if I would, I always thought, if I ever saw her on the street, I'd just do like a... right in her direction.
I know.
Right, but now I'm just like, I gotta be honest. You're holding the fucking line here. I actually want to shake your hand, as crazy as that fucking is, and especially who you're fucking descended from. Fucking wild.
Yeah. Fucking insane.
Holy shit.
Sorry to just pause right here for a moment. Am I showing up really? I was having just a slight, technical difficulty.
It's kind of glitchy, but that's fine. For the most part, you're good. I mean, at this point, we're committed to what we're doing, and that's all right.
That's all right. I
Okay.
just switched Wi-Fi. I hope nothing happens. There we go. This should be a little bit better. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going strong, and it looks a little like more smooth, so that's good. Anyway.
Cool. That's great.
Great. Yeah. See, friend said couple freeze frames. Okay, so Great Resignation. My take on it is this: I think this is the waking up of the slumbering giant of the working class in America, which is an extremely fucking socialist take. But I really think that's what it is. People are like, I deserve fucking dignity. And I know a bunch of other people who deserve it, so fuck off, Mr. Customer, Mr. Boss Man. If you're not going to pay me the money I deserve or give me the benefits I deserve, fuck off. I'm going to find something else.
Yeah. People have it's certainly been feeling that way too. A lot of workplaces, and I think it's coming up in my own workplace too, that they're trying to give more incentives for people to stay, and this is only because I happen to be in the same room as my director talking to somebody else about it.
Right.
That my workplace applied for a city grant that will be like a grant for it'll be a bonus to all of us. Right. And I'm like, bonus. But then I started thinking about that because I do a shit ton of reading on my work breaks, my work lunch, and then I was thinking about it, and then people talking about their incentives, asking for benefits at least,
right.
Plain and simple benefits, and I was just like, maybe this might be an incentive for us, because pretty sure my director is, she's young. They're all very young, very well informed people. Mm-hmm. I can really tell. Really amazing leadership, by the way. Shout out to them.
Nice.
So I feel like they're trying to prevent that from happening. And actually, now that we're slightly, more specific on that topic, in my workplace, we've had a bunch of, faces come and go, and, they've been struggling to hire for new teachers. Parents and children are in wait lines,
right.
on a wait list, waiting to get their child in, but it's like, it's no teachers, can't overwork them, they're trying to put students in a room. They want students to be put in a room, but that room only has one teacher. And let me just be clear about what kind of classroom it is. It's toddlers. You need like 2 to 3 adults in there.
Right.
So right now, shout out to my coworker. I'm not gonna mention her name for her own personal respect. She's awesome. She handles a classroom on her own with people covering her breaks and all that stuff, and whenever she needs them. And she has 5 to 7 toddlers. One person finds 7 toddlers, and I'm like, you are a beast. And she just got hired. I'm like, we need people like you. And then we got the other end of the spectrum. A couple of months ago, someone was getting hired for that same freaking room with the toddlers. Those poor kids, they just can't have the same teacher for a little bit.
Right.
She got hired. This person got hired. And, they give people the work tour. You just got hired. Here's the team. Here's the classroom. Here's the, kindergarten preppers.
Right.
Here's the preschoolers.
Right.
I myself, for the record, am a kindergarten prep teacher. We were out on the playground and, playing with the kids, running around, being fun and diddly. Now, take a break, stand up and just, watch them for a little bit.
Right.
And, help them out. And then, no, welcome to the team. My name's Ian. And then, glad to have you, She does not say a single word to me. She didn't say anything, not even hi. And I was like, thanks. Bye, see you later. And the director was right there. And then the playgrounds are divided. We have two playgrounds, a big one and a small one. Smaller children, small playground, big playground, the older children, my kiddos. And so the other set of kids were on the smaller playground. We're just divided by a tiny fence that's like 4 feet tall.
Right.
And does the same thing with that teacher that's in there, and she does the same thing. She didn't say a single word, and I'm like, I hope you're okay. And then, spoiler alert, or actually, let's just get to the end of the story, never came back. But she was hired. I was weirded out, man. So, and this was before we gave the name to the Great Resignation.
Right.
This was a couple months ago. And, thinking back on it, I'm like, it's not necessarily a bad workforce. I don't think she's a bad person. I don't know. She might have her reasons for not staying or even not speaking. Right. Well, that was odd. I understand if you have social anxiety for sure. That as I understand it, don't worry about it. Right. But it's not that there's an untrained workforce that no one's ready. In fact, I've seen a couple things that people are going out, with some pretty darn good degrees, good information, a lot of things, and they can't find their job. They're not being hired.
Right.
And then when they are, they end up landing jobs that, they don't enjoy, or plain and simple, materialistically, they're not getting the pay that they need.
Right.
They're not getting the benefits that they need.
Yeah.
And this, you can't separate inflation from this either, because let's say you might be getting a good pay here, but the cost of living is rising, and this is a fact that no one can deny. The cost of living is rising, but the wages aren't rising fast enough.
I have a take about that for you. Have you ever heard of the term the just minimum wage?
The just minimum wage,
like justice. Yes.
Yeah. No.
So, the just minimum wage is a concept about what the minimum wage would be if, like we had during the 1970s and prior, kept it up to date with inflation.
Yeah.
In 2017, minimum wage, working at a McDonald's, working at a 7-Eleven, working at a gas station, anything. Guess.
If I had to tie it with inflation, I feel like I've seen bits and infographics about these kind of things. I'm gonna give it a guess. Is it $25 an hour?
Just about. And that was 5 years ago. It should probably be closer to $28 an hour.
Got to remember that.
Yeah.
$25 an hour, right? It's like 20-something an hour. I was going to say 30 for a bit.
Yes.
But $25 an hour.
Yeah. $25 an hour. That's how powerful our economy is. And that's how much our wages have been deflated. Mark that. Deflated. Now.
The wages have deflated.
The wages have deflated. Technically, if I was working a $5 an hour job in the 1950s, you know how much I would be actually making in today's money? Probably. Let's do a little math here, okay? Let's do a little math.
So please, I like these kinds of things,
So
that's what I went to school for.
$5. Let's say 1955.
All right.
Worth today. What is that?
Eisenhower, baby.
Yeah. New Deal. Social. The New Deal is American. It is not communist. It is what Americans do. $5 in 1955. Eisenhower's time. This was the minimum wage. Today would be $51.18 an hour.
Can you please repeat that number?
$5 in 1955 is worth $51.18 today.
What the hell?
Yes.
That's insane. The 51 an hour?
Yes. And that was to do shit like, I'm going to turn something on a car. Or I'm going to go... Not even a car. That's stuff you could make to fucking buy a house in today's economy.
Shit, dude.
Like, okay. Let's say I work at McDonald's, right? In the 1950s. I'm making that $5 an hour.
Making me sad right
All
here.
right. So let's make the markup today. 5118 times, where's my times? I just want to cancel. So times, let's say we're working 8 hours, and I believe in a 6-hour workday, to be honest. It's times 8. So in a day you would make $409.44. We're going to times that by 5. That means you'd be making in a week $2,047.02. Now let's
in a week.
Yes. Now let's times that by 4. That's in a month, $8,188.08. And if we times that by 12, a minimum wage worker in 1955 working at McDonald's for $5 an hour would be making $98,265.60 a year.
Holy
that
shit.
would be minimum wage.
That's fucking.
That's how little we're paid in this country. No wonder there's a fucking Great Resignation. People have realized they're fucked.
Yeah.
That's just based on math.
Just based on basic ass math too.
Yeah.
Just like super basic
like
math.
Like fucking 5th grade level math. Mixed with just an inflation calendar.
A word problem.
Yes.
Freaking CST type of testing, you know, for California folks that fucking CSTs. Like, it's straight up. Yeah, people are quitting because they're being paid, you know, not what they're, you know, supposed to be getting paid, or at least respectable with respect to the cost of living nowadays. It's insane how expensive things are, dude.
Yeah.
And maybe here's an example. I actually am somewhere different than the last time we spoke. I don't know if you have noticed.
I mean, the room seems a little different, but it's got like kind of a similar vibe. Obviously, probably because you set up it's very similar, but I noticed like the layout was different in terms of like where the window was.
The spacing, yes. Wow, yeah. Good memory. So we moved in August, right?
Right.
To instead of hence that we lived in a luxury apartment.
Right.
And I had a love-hate relationship with them because it was nice enough that it was really nice. We're super comfy. Holy crap, was it expensive?
Yeah.
And then they had the audacity to tell us that we owed them for a total of $400 each after the whole cost of moving out. They deducted the initial deposit from 2 years back. So not only did they take our $400 or like whatever money that was, they charged us around $1,200 total. So $400 per the 3. And I was like,
so
can't be happening.
There you go.
On a teacher wage, that's a lot, motherfuckers.
Yeah, there you go. It's hey man, that all I can say to you is like, what benefit is that person doing for society other than the fact that they happen to own a house or an apartment building? How are they benefiting society? What work are they doing? Nothing. They're just fucking like getting their cocks milked by their consumers just to have a fucking box to live in. I'm sorry. I mean, and that's a very dark. I'm okay. So like, you say I'm optimistic, and that makes me happy. I'm just like a positive realist.
There we go. No, I see it, and I appreciate that. We need that, you know. Because there's definitely a lot of negative realism that it just makes everybody else sad, and it makes everybody who's on the edge of thinking about something in a certain way, it makes them sad.
Yeah,
might not even be good for their mental health.
Don't be a Colin Robinson. Don't be an energy vampire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was insane, and I'm like, just when I thought like if things maybe don't work out here, I like this place enough that I would go back to it and hopefully have more money by then. And I'm like, oh my god, all I did was leave, and you charged us $1,200. I'm out. So, rent is a lot cheaper here, and just very recently, out of my own history nerd curiosity, this is a townhome that has 4 units, and we live in unit 1 out of 4. This townhome was built in 1906.
Shit.
And it was remodeled in 84. So even though it is old in skeletal structure,
right?
Even its renovation is old. It is now 40 years old, the
Right.
renovation.
Right.
Or maybe there's been a renovation, after that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not on the record at least.
Right.
84. And it flabbergasts me just how much this place costs. It is a very big touch cheaper than the other apartments we live at that I hate now.
Right.
But I'm like, this is like, a lot of people would dread living in a space like this, but I feel nice and comfy. I feel homey. It's a lot more of a home. I'm not in a high rise anymore. But this is a lot. It is a lot. And there are 4 units. It's not like I got the whole building to myself. We don't have a parking spot. We don't have a backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still the price that it is. And I pay a lot less just because I share that with a partner.
Right.
I think I
remember the last time we talked, you had obviously you and your partner, and then I think you had a roommate or two?
One roommate. Now there's 4 total of us now.
Okay.
One roommate was.
And even then, you still have to give your space up for like common shit just because of cost.
Oh yeah, like I will hands down say I can afford an apartment on my own without giving up an entire check.
Right.
Of a check.
Right. Here's a proposition. What would you say to a maximum rent hike? Like legally, legislation passes through. Progressives like somehow fucking take the cake, whip Biden in the ass by shoving a shank in it, smacking cinema and mansion, cross the curb, fucking like that one scene in some of those old gangster movies where like
yeah,
right, and just like boom, all apartments, maximum rent $1,200.
Is that your like for
whole country?
Are you saying how much they can raise it by, or like this is
that is it? If it's anything higher, fucking feds come in and shut them down.
Yeah. And for how many rooms are we speaking? Or are you saying per person?
I'm saying an apartment.
Like the entire thing, the entire unit will be 1,200.
Yes, if it's like a house, 2,000. Think of it like this. If that happens, that means that there's going to be so much more construction of houses because these companies are going to have to invest in that to make back the money that they wanted. So that means there's more available housing for cheaper, so more people can live the places they want to. So it's a cycle of positivity. So what do you think to that?
I'm not opposed to it. I'm just, the only thing I am worried about, the thing that does worry me is, the cut to quality. The cut to quality in construction, right. If it is going to be so darn cheap and I, support this, I really like it, but I'm just worried about the kinds of, right. Let's think back to, like really, really old houses and really cheap housing where, it's probably not even a healthy place to live at,
right.
with asbestos and rusting metals or, unsustainable construction materials and practices. That is the thing that worries me because I do consider that a lot when it comes to a house. For example, one thing that I thought a lot about, I'm like, if we're gonna move here, I really do hope. It's kind of sad to think about. Pisses me off to think about. I really hope that this place can keep out outside air as well enough because when it's wildfire season, I ain't trying to get lung cancer in one summer.
I get you, man. I would say it depends. You could look to a place like Japan where like the building framework is like 20 to 30 years and they just destroy it and start a new one. And they have much more relaxed like construction like laws. But you also have things where it's like you can get an apartment with like by yourself for $400 a month and then just add a couple utilities, make it $600. And maybe the place has fucking fiber internet for free in the rent.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, I had an apartment that had fiber for free.
That's freaking sick.
Yeah. All right. So.
I would definitely vote for that, by the way. It's just that kind of thing definitely,
it's definitely
I hope they
something
don't do it at the cost of that.
that was more like an overreaching perspective of like a
Of
possibility.
course.
That's like science fiction, like quotes. Before we hop back into the topic of the Great Resignation, one of the viewers has made a comment. I imagine if you look and see, he wants to know about what we think about China's leasing out of land, which is forcing wealthy Chinese to invest in other countries that don't set limitations.
Ooh.
So I can take it first if you want, or you can take it first. I know a bit about global politics and like that finance shit. So, or if you want to get your take first, and then I'll throw my 2 cents in. I'm down either way.
Actually, if you take it on, enlighten me a little bit.
Okay.
Please.
So, currently, the CCP is really pushing towards taxing the fuck out of the rich again because they want to create a more egalitarian society because Xi wants to be popular with the people, right? He's trying to become the next Mao.
Okay.
Or, well, Mao and Deng Xiaoping, who's the one who kind of like brought China into becoming like a global superpower of finance and like manufacturing, what have you. Anyway, so obviously there have been a lot of billionaires due to the open up of China. One example would be like Jack Ma. But Jack Ma was a wonderful story. He's the guy who started Alibaba, which is basically Chinese Amazon. And he has basically disappeared, and a lot of them have been jumping ship to come to places like Europe or America. And for example, if you go to any of like the high class hotels and stuff, so in the 80s this was the Japanese, the Chinese are doing it right now because they have to get the money out of Dodge. And to be honest, I think that their bubble is gonna pop really fucking soon for real estate. Their company is teetering on an edge, and once China fucking goes and blows up, here's what's gonna happen. That's 1/4 of the global economy fucking exploding, which means a lot of people are gonna be fucking venting on fucking the United States because guess what? Say what you will about us, we're fucking economically stable.
Yeah, more so than other places. That is true.
That's why we're the global standard. Anyway, so my take on that is that tough shit, taxes happen. When you're an authoritarian government, it's not clear you have any fucking checks and balances against it. That's why I'm not like a communist, because I don't believe like that one fucking authority is like gonna fucking lead people to become the leaders of the day. I'm more anarchist in that sense. I've always had a libertarian streak about me. And if they come to other countries, they come to other countries. Fuck China can do whatever it wants, but like that's gonna have repercussions on their their wealthy people. In terms of the money, China's government owns all the land. That's just how that is. It's been that way since the 1940s when the communists won, and you can look at the state structure. It's really interesting. It's fucking dense to look into, but it's really interesting, and that is my opinion. It is what it is. I don't really give a fuck about it. As long as they're not, they might as well get out while the getting is good. It's smart.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Plus, they have the means to get out.
Yeah.
Like society, they just happen to, they're getting the short end of the stick in their country. They have the means to, they're gonna be one of those lucky immigrants.
Okay. There you go. And in the United States, it takes a long time to immigrate too, and a whole fucking process. He just sent another thing saying, so would you say it's good they like vacant land in the U.S.? They have vacant land.
That's a very good question.
If they can buy it, and then if their businesses blow up and they can't pay the money on it, who's going to come to town but the banks, and they're going to foreclose on their land like it does for anything else in like United States society. Condor, it's like what it is. That's the beauty of America is once you have ownership, you have ownership until you don't have ownership anymore.
So you sell it or die.
Look at what happened to the Native Americans. They had ownership of all the lands until we said their treaties didn't fucking matter anymore. Who's to say that we can't say, oh, well, you're from a fucking authoritarian government we're not really okay with, and you're still a citizen there? We're just going to fucking eminent domain your land. It's not impossible.
That's true. with the current anti-Asian you
Sentiment
know
from COVID.
sentiment. Thank you. That's the word from COVID. Who's to say? Yeah, and if we're talking about China here too, who's to say that they're not gonna also be, maybe the money will speak for itself. That's a whole lot different than a common person coming in the airport, with a mask on, getting beat up by some white old man. It's like, you get registered China,
Right.
but maybe the money will speak for them. But
I mean, if they
one
have,
thing,
sorry, he
yeah,
said vacant land. Like, there's
I
nothing
had a thing
developed
about
on it.
vacant land.
So, what's
Here's the
your
thing about
take?
vacant land. I feel like with vacant land, if you the best value for vacant land will be to, again, start up your business
Mm-hmm.
on that vacant land, but making sure that it has close enough resources to be able to support that. For example,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be a shit ton of vacant land in Montana or Idaho or probably Kansas or Wyoming, but they're not going to be close to those major cities where, I don't know.
Commerce
Let's talk
is.
about where the commerce is booming. Maybe they'll, and I guess maybe it just depends on what their business might be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I live in a tech hub, so all I could think of is, if they wanted to buy land here in the Northwest, it will be goddamn expensive for those that want to buy land for the tech hub, because
Okay.
the land leasing here is outrageous. But you know what? That's why you see big brand names here. That's why you see Apple. That's why you see Facebook is building up here. That's why Amazon, if
Yep.
they, a part of the city is their campus. Part of downtown is their campus. It's all these big names, and they have the means to be able to buy that land. If you don't, then you know all
So,
I could say is, what I was going on about, is I think it would just really depend on where they're gonna set up land in America.
so he's saying something like that. I don't think they are buying on loan. They're paying cash for $1 million homes, not just like a vacant lot. Well, first and foremost, who gives a fuck about $1 million home? How the fuck are you gonna pay the property taxes on that? Second, you want to know why? It's because in China, there is no safe investment other than saving. Everything is a fucking bubble. Like the housing market there. It's okay. So Japan with its bubble was almost able to overtake the United States economy in the 1980s. And the US economy in the 1980s was fucking huge. Then it exploded. China's bubble is almost to the point where Japan was in 1991. You think Japan is going to have a bit of trouble? They've been in 30 years of a prolonged depression that has marked almost 2 generations of people into a state. Look how bad it's going to be for China.
See, that's a
Secondly,
quarter of the world, almost. Yeah,
yeah.
an eighth of the world.
Secondly, China has all these rich people who are fleeing. Yeah, sure, have them come the fuck to America. Might as well tax the fuck out of the fuckers. They certainly aren't getting taxed and like tariffed and stuff because technically they're still a developing economy. They bought that status back in 2000 and something from the UN, and they have been milking it. Now, I don't give a fuck about $1 million homes because $1 million homes are stupid as fuck, and then they lose them. You want something economical, live within your fucking means. If you have the money to save, you know what I would do? Buy a fucking condo, live there for the rest of your life on that fucking $800,000 you have left after paying the $200,000 on the condo.
Yeah, and live your life frugally and to its means.
Yes. There you go. You want to know the problem with the rich people of the world? They don't have enough. But if you have enough, you're already better than they are because you don't have to make yourself a slave to the system to earn money.
Yeah. Which is where we're at right now.
Listen, think of Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. They're fucking slaves to wanting more money. They aren't free from the desire of being like. I saw a very interesting meme, and it's like, why do we have to tax like people like Elon Musk if they're giving like $500 million in donations to charity? because if you tax them what they should be taxed, then they would be paying $5.1 billion into our fucking government to be able to spend for welfare to aid the rest of our society. Now imagine if you took all those rich people and did that. They'd have to sell off all their stocks. But hey, once you win capitalism, and that's earning over $999,999.99, you win. Here's a fucking ribbon. You get a fucking house in the Caribbean or in the fucking fucking Crete or something, like a villa, and you can live like a fucking playboy. The rest of your money should go to saving society.
There we go.
What it seems like is they're just buying it so that's an investment to hold it. That's because the United States' housing market is super fucking... Well, right now it's in a bubble and it's going to pop in maybe a year and a half. But it is a lot safer than the Chinese housing market. That's
Very
why,
true.
Condor. That's why. Because the Chinese market is standing on, and I'm sorry to use this, this might be deemed as kind of an Asian pun, it's dangling on a precipice balanced on fucking bamboo stalks that's going to eventually and fall out from under them.
Right. Go past, yeah.
And I don't mean to be
Unrotting
racist.
wood.
I mean, okay. I know that's not a racist thing. That's just that's a little bit of a pun. That's a tongue-in-cheek statement. I mean, okay. Can I ask you a question, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And this is just cover my ass. You know, I'm a white male, so typically I'm gonna fucking get fired on such fucking not fired from my job, but like Twitter gun. So
Canceled.
was that pun okay? Was that pun okay without meaning offense?
I mean, I'm also not the
I know that you're not. I know you're not the population, but as someone who has a partner who is Asian American, would you say that went too far?
I would say just to stay away from it. Staying away from those kinds of things.
That is exactly why I was like, I don't mean this in a bad way. And I know that's the wrong take. So from that there you go. White people. What is the racist assumption about white people? We're really good at being racist. So there you go. Tick mark on me at being authentically white.
This guy. Yeah, I would just staying away from it.
I typically do. I typically do.
I was very different, back in the day. And by back in the day, meaning high school, with you didn't know shit,
Right.
and you're just learning. And I will say so myself. I was very casually. Well, it is, and I didn't even notice because I was dumb. I was also young and learning, and I was also indoctrinized by really not good sources at the time. You say things that are like, that was racist. I regret saying that. As a Latino, I'm like, I cannot believe that just because of the music I listen to and I happen to grow up in the same neighborhoods as some of these people. Maybe that's why. But I say the N-word so casually, as if I were, and I'm like, no, I really regret that part of my life. And, we live and we learn.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we grow. And here's the thing, it's like the fact that I made the effort and then not only tried, but then said, listen, I'm fucking sorry I said that, but it is an analogy and I apologize. And I'm not going to cover my ass anymore. What I did, that is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's on shaky ground. That's the thing.
It is that's what I'm saying. It is on shaky ground. And you know what? I feel like the second we get to shaky ground, it becomes wrong.
Yeah.
If you start to doubt it, if you start to see, oh, maybe I shouldn't, then maybe let's not.
Right. Okay. So let's get back to the Great Resignation. So why do you think this year in specific is when we started to see people start to wake up to this?
That I can't wrap my head around. I can have some theories, but it's really...
That's what we got to do. We're going to be theory building. We're world building.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's always going to be a theory, but I feel like I don't even have a theory, a strong one either.
Right.
I can make relevant points, but I don't feel like I don't have a strong one. Okay. Well, number one, people start, I think people are starting to take care of themselves more post-pandemic. I'm not even going to say post-pandemic because we're still in it. Post-2020, people are starting to take care of themselves more, probably because, everyone's keep yourself safe, keep yourself healthy. look after yourself because this thing's after us in our health. And so I think people went past the health part.
Yeah.
A lot of people went past the health part, went into mental health. Mental health during the pandemic became a hot topic that, I mean, again, I've said this last episode, it could be its own episode about mental health during the pandemic and how to handle that. And I could say that with confidence because we're still in it,
Right.
And so I think we went past the bodily and physical health, especially now with vaccinations, that we're like, okay, take care of yourself now, like you. And people are starting to realize that, like this job ain't for me, And I think something that I keep thinking back to is, especially because this happens in a lot of retail, where you get a lot of really bad customers. I'm talking Karens upon Karens upon Karens.
Yeah, I feel bad for like people
are
actually
tired.
named Karen at this point. I feel really bad for people actually named Karen. But I get
I
I know exactly what you mean.
And people start getting you start feeling sick of the customers, and it's like, oh, this ain't worth for me. And then they start looking their actual job in general. It's like, this is not for me. I'm not getting paid enough. I hate this job.
Right.
Finding better for them. But then this is not just happening there. It's also happening for even, surprisingly too, for a lot of white collared workers, a lot of young, educated people too. They just, maybe.
Yes, the professional class, we would call it. The professional class.
There we go. The professional class is also dealing with it. And, maybe you wanted to do this thing, during college, but it's not what you made it out to be.
Right.
Maybe it was not for you, taste wise,
Right.
And I know a lot of people that feel that way about their careers. And
I want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher. Did it? Obviously, it was in a prophetized context in another country, but I was like, nope.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it people start, not liking what they wanted to do, or they wasn't there for them. I felt that way in college about engineering. I'm like, yo, STEM is cool. STEM is the future. I love my math, but this just ain't for me. I'm not feeling it. This might make me money, but I feel like I'm just gonna hate myself.
There you go. Well, here's the thing, right?
There it is.
That's it. So, like, why do you think people push STEM so much? So we can drive the price down on people who... No, that's not why. It's not for the money for the workers.
Is that not where you're going?
No, this is not where I'm going.
Ooh, what I'm saying is... I'm interested.
Okay. So the reason we push STEM so hard in schools is because we want to deflate the price by creating more workers so that the demand for it is less and they get paid less. Why do you think there are so many things these days like learn how to do IT, learn how to do IT, learn how to code, learn how to do IT? That is one of the last highly paid professions in any industrialized country. And if enough people can do it to do gig work, you think fucking Facebook or Amazon or anything is going to fire fucking staff that are professional? No, they're going to fucking hire Bob Johnson, who lives in his mom's basement, who's 40 years old and just has to telecommute to work, sign in remotely into a computer and fucking do 8 hours of work while pissing in a fucking Pepsi can.
Holy shit. That took me back to the fulfillment center stories, which just make me so sad.
And that's what it is. And that's why I studied fucking social sciences, because at the end of the day, there are not enough people who study it because they want people to be too dumb and just focused on, what are the physical realities, how much money I'm going to make, and how can I fucking benefit myself, without thinking, how is this going to affect society in general?
How's it going to affect people? How's it going to affect people's well-being?
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. And I think what we do is we finally hit the chord. We finally hit the thing. Think about it. What caused the last shift in the global world perspective in the last 100 years before this pandemic? That was World War I ending the old world order, and then the fucking pandemic of the flu. The Spanish flu is the flu that we have year after year today. It's the same flu. Just evolved over generations.
Yeah.
And that's it. Think about it. I highly suspect as a historian, someone who studied history and still reads history books and who likes to experiment with the possibility just because I like seeing like the trends, that we're going to see another financial crash soon. It's probably going to be pretty worse than 2008.
Doubt you. I will not doubt you.
And it's either we're going to go at a more left-leaning thing. Dude, I know exactly that guy duped to get a manufacturing job. That's exactly it, Condor. You wanted to get a manufacturing job, which is why you're trying to get you're trying to get that degree in engineering, and you put all this work in, and you can't even finish it because there's like fucking 100,000 people who are also doing the same fucking position, and it's gonna force your wages to go down because it's not gonna be as, there's gonna be more of a pool of people to pull from. Now back to my prediction. What's gonna happen is we're either gonna see a wave of fucking populism that's either gonna go in a horribly genocidal eco-fascist agenda, or we're going to say, hey, everyone's human. It doesn't matter what the fuck this is or what's around your neck that displays your belief system, as long as we can agree, hey, we need the world to exist so we can fucking exist, and just because all the rich people can go to the fucking moon and drink their own piss that's been recycled doesn't mean the rest of us can, so we have to make this shit work.
There we go.
And I'm highly suspective that it's going to go one of those two ways, and there are a hell of a lot more people that are swinging on that left side than there are on the right side.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we got to address the problems that really exist at hand. Is there an economic disaster that's going to come and happen? Probably. What's more important, though? The livability of future generations on this planet and the fact that there's a fucking... Shit, I wouldn't even know what to call it. You can't call it a Holocaust, or it's like or like a genocide, like the Anthropocene kill off of so many species on the planet, plant, fungi, animal, and all the other stuff that is so fucking important to the balance of our ecosystem, to the point of which it is going on. And people are waking up and they're realizing, oh fuck, there's not a future to be had that's positive unless we step up, and they're stepping up now. In the country where it really matters most. Could you imagine if everyone said in America, all people who just go to jobs, and I'm talking about people who are like earning
average Joe
$250,000 like doctors a year, down to average Joe working at Mickey D's, like Tommy who's just got a summer job, and they said, fuck it, general strike, whole country, no one's going to work for a month. That would fuck the entire global economy because of how important the United States economy is. U.S. economy is 25% of the global economy, dude. That would destroy it. That would cause massive repercussions.
That's the kind of disruption we need.
Yeah.
So we can get the message across. Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently. And not even the top scientists could convince world leaders that, hey, we need to do this thing. There's no planet 2. Or if there is one, it's, 3 trillion butt cheeks away. Can't go there. There's no planet B.
You ready for this? Did you see the chat?
Let me control Alt tab.
There you go, man. I think you'll get a laugh out of this.
Looking forward to the
inevitable heat death. Hashtag. That's the unfortunate thing, is that like that's one of the main fucking reasons why I honestly think I might not have children. Like, because I can't in good conscience say I'm going to have kids and they're going to have to fucking fight their neighbors for water.
No, I don't want to bring a child into the world just to have them, like, breathe dirty as air.
Yeah. Everyone who's alive now is fucking responsible to make the world a better place than it was yesterday. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't even blame the boomers for this. What I blame is the fucking controls that have been made to stop us from putting in the effort to stop this from being effects. They knew about this in the 70s. Look at the guy who made Dune. This is a great example of looking to culture and art to speak back to us, to teach us something. So Dune just released this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like last weekend. That movie's about 3 things: macro history, macro socioeconomic models, ecology. So the first one is all about the effects over time and
Yeah.
generations and the large view of history instead of 5 years. I'm talking about like 500. I'm talking about 1,000. I'm talking about tens, like massive scale. Things that people don't consider, but if you look at it, you can see the similarities. Think about this. And I saw this just while watching a video at lunch today when I came back, because I live close enough to where I work where I can drive back home, have lunch I make at my place, and then drive back, which is a luxury.
That's fucking dope.
It is a luxury. I'm not paid much, but fuck it, that's like a big incentive for why I took the job.
That's fucking sick, yo.
Right? So, and they said this. Imagine, if you will, a civilization that archaeologically has not been proven to exist yet, but they know that they have all this amazing technology, culture, progress, their society's advanced, and they know that it's going to blow up in their face, and then people in the future will think it's all just fucking science fiction and pseudoscience and whatever. Like the idea of Atlantis, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
It's right now. That's where we are. Now, second, that macro socio-economical political society. The effects on power, the effects on how economics of resource work and exploitation of the environment. Look at Dune. The whole idea of Dune is that it is a plot to destroy the upcoming power of this family by getting them against this other family who happen to own it. And he's just like, nope, no more. I'm the emperor. I have control. You're now owning it. Fucking hit job by the family that used to own it. They come in, wipe out this family that could have rivaled the emperor and his family, and so on. And you want the fucking best science fiction of all time? Dune is up there to be it, just from the far-reaching fucking scope of its storytelling and the effects it talks about. And third is ecology. The guy made that story up because he saw climate change happening on the sand dunes of Oregon and the beaches, and the shift of that microcosm of ecosystem and land. And that's what's fucking happening to our planet.
Yeah.
We don't get, there you go. Okay,
You don't get
go ahead. We'll look at the chat after.
No, I mean, I have not seen Dune, but I've definitely heard a lot of these things, apart from like the hypes, like, oh, it's so good, but they're not telling me why it's good.
Listen, man, I got a copy of it right there that I have had sitting there unable to read for over 12 years. And I saw that movie and I'm like, fuck it, I'm diving in.
Dune, maybe I'll just read it too.
Just read it, man.
All right.
It's going to be so much more impactful. But the movie was fucking amazing. And I'm not going to say shit about it other than that because it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm up against spoilers.
Yeah.
What's chat saying?
Okay, so chat says, I'd still blame boomers because they also kept Gen Z out of Congress.
Good point.
They also have yet to really pass the torch. That is fucking true. And they're lining their pockets. The average age of a member of the Senate is about 68. Maybe it's even 70 now. The average age of fucking House of Representatives is in their mid to late 50s. That's like a young boomer or an old Gen Xer. That is fucking egregious.
Holy shit.
You're right, Condor. But remember, it's not just America. We're talking about the planet. America is... We're both... Okay. I'm an American. Ian, you're an American, correct? Yes.
Boom, yeah.
Our one person talking in the chat, I know they're an American as well. Yes. Obviously, we have this bias because we are living in the country that we have ties to. But this is much broader scale than just a fucking entity that's really a fiction created by the citizens that live in a certain set of land.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm again, realist. What is a country? It's not the land. It's the people that inhabit the land and create an identity.
People that inhabit the land.
Yeah.
Yep. Holy shit, dude.
Listen, I didn't know we were talking about such fucking heavy topics tonight, but like, fuck me, man. This is going to be an impactful episode if people listen to it.
But here we are, we're so about it on two different, scales, Earth-wise and can people pay their workers a livable fucking wage?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, what should we do? Pay people enough to survive. Pay people enough to buy things that will cause the environment to not go to fuck all. 3, create technology that can help us advance forward to not use that. You want to know what would help? Okay, let's not have the military. I'm pretty sure that 75% of global pollution is because of the top 100 companies in the world. Then about the next 25%, or maybe I would say 20, is all of the military spending and the various resources that uses up to pump pollution into the environment. For example, you used to live in Irvine.
Oh yeah.
Irvine used to be an Air Force base until about the mid 70s. So you know the neighborhoods around the Great Park, right?
Yeah, and I've seen those big ass airplane like hangars that chill there.
That used to be there. Now, think about the sheer amount of pollution that seeped into the ground from the 40-ish years of subpar military equipment dripping into the oil. That is a radioactive, polluted, oil-ridden hellscape that I expect in 10 years is going to see a cancer rate that rises up. And I would never fucking live there.
Oh, I don't want to live there.
Even
without that information,
right.
I didn't even like it.
Well, yeah, because it's expensive. It's expensive and snobby and so forth.
Everything. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with it. And I'm like, no, please not me too, because I lived there for 4 years. Shit.
Well, the fuck, man. Live where people lived for thousands of years. Live near where water sources are. Live where there's relatively verdant landscapes, so the soil is probably good to grow food. Learn how to live off the land and recognize native flora and fauna that is replenishable easily.
That is replenished. Yeah.
And this is what we gotta do.
Damn.
This is the shit. This is okay, Ian. This is the shit that happens when you don't have a fucking girlfriend or a boyfriend or a non-gendered partner, because you don't have any energy to throw into having a relationship, so you just fucking like do your passions, and mine is just learning, so I have become like the fucking like apostle of like fucking study. It's just drilling it into my brain.
Bro, you're a prophet.
I'm not. No, I am not a prophet.
No, you're not a prophet. For the record, you're not a prophet.
No, I'm not a prophet. I'm just a guy who has too much time.
We need that. Our fellow work quitting from the radio station need that leisure time because they don't got it, or they can't even use it properly. Ooh, got something new.
Yeah. So it's true. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's exactly the case. Yes, bribery is legal in America. Ever since the 1970s, there was a case during the court during President Richard Nixon's thing that made bribery legal. And then, under Ronald Reagan, they deregulated the television industry so that news does not only have to be fact-based, it can be opinion-based, which is why you saw the rise of both Fox News and CNN in the 1980s. Our society is the result of the greed and lack of care of humanity.
What the? Sorry.
That's fucking fine. That's actually hilarious.
My phone came to life. I was like, oh shit. All I did was like check it. Someone messaged me and then it just came to life and I was like, holy fuck, leave me alone, Coinbase.
I hear you there. That's funny, man. So hey, Condor, that's a great point. Resources can come from anywhere. If your girlfriend in Indonesia told you about that abuse of our system, there you go. That's exactly why the global stuff is so important. And that's the problem, is that you're not able to focus on the global stuff if there's a war on Christmas and it's fucking September and you should be pissed off because everyone's trying to oppress the white Christian babies that are not going to get aborted. So we have to stop the LGBT community from getting the right to access abortion guns that will stop them from making the white race just, it's like, that's the shit that they want you to focus on to keep you divided, which is stopping you from realizing what's going on in the globe, dude. Like, all the Sean Hannitys, all the Tucker Carlsons, hell, I'll even throw out the liberals here, all the Don Lemons and the Rachel Maddows, same fucking shit. It's to distract you from what's really happening behind closed doors to go with. It's like, okay, here's a very interesting perspective that I think you'll get a kick out of, Ian. So, you know Anderson Cooper?
Yeah.
So, he is a salaried worker.
Really?
He does not own wealth, even though he's descended from the Vanderbilt family. So,
really? What the hell?
His mom was a Vanderbilt. Now, back to the point that I want to make about this. He is for a wealth tax increase because what is being proposed by the conservative Democrats, fuck the idea of moderates, the conservative Democrats and the far right wing, everybody else who is fucking insane, their whole shtick. He wants to increase the wealth tax because he knows if an income tax rises up, he's going to pay more. So he's in his own self-interest to have wealthy people pay more because he doesn't own wealth. He works for his wealth. Like most other people. Yes, exactly, Condor. Creating fights does distract you. And creating fires to run around to put them out cannot, yes. So you don't have to handle the army coming to stomp on you.
Well, that's a good imagery.
Here's the thing. I bet you the army would fucking defact and fight on the side of the regular citizens over the fucking corporations any day of the week. Their job is to serve the Constitution.
The people.
And that means the people. We have the sovereign right in the Constitution to say, fuck you, this is corrupt. We are overthrowing you and doing it. A great idea from another culture is this. Ian, have you heard about the mandate of heaven?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You cannot be a history major and
not know the mandate of heaven. Mandate of heaven, Chinese condition concept, right?
Yep.
So, if your government isn't treating you right and shit's starting to go bad for them, that's because they didn't take care of you and you have the fucking right to overthrow them and start something new. That's why I absolutely believe that if the CCP fucks up, and that's a good ideal to put in any society.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they're there for you. In theory, you are their boss.
Yeah.
Because they should be writing and putting together the laws that will better help you and better help the well-being of society.
They're public servants.
They're public. Thank you. I was going to say officers. Public servants is the word.
Servants.
Public servants.
They are meant to serve you. And if they do not do their job as a member of a democratic society, it is your responsibility. And here's the thing I don't think a lot of people in our contemporary country understand. It is your responsibility as a civic member of our society to both learn the proper facts that are true and to use that knowledge to create the right environment, to put in proper people to run it. This is why charisma is the worst fucking thing to have put in politics. Like,
oh yeah,
charismatic people. Who's a charismatic person? JFK. JFK was the most fucking dangerous president we ever had in the history of this country in the 20th century. Why? Because he almost went to fucking war with Soviet Union over fucking Cuba.
Over Cuba, too.
Yeah. I would say Richard Nixon was probably the best president because he was the least charismatic and he fucking knew his job. And he was a Republican. That fucker started the EPA. A Republican started the EPA.
People forget that.
Yeah.
People forget. The Republicans forget that.
Well,
oh my God. Oh, we got more chat.
That's the thing. That's why politics is slimy. Politics is dirty, but it's fucking important. And you have to be able to like get into it. That's why you need a robust bureaucratic system if you're going to run a state like this. Unless you're saying, fuck it, we're just going to do local level shit like anarchist stuff. Which again...
Or the Articles of Confederation, which were shit. Even for such a tiny country.
Yeah,
back in those
exactly.
days.
I mean, I probably, like, Articles of Confederation, you know what that made the United States? The United States was fucking the EU before the EU existed.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, and then they
It was
said,
just colonies without a king.
exactly, and it didn't turn out, so we had to make a more consolidated form of government. And then the issue of states' rights versus federal control went to a head in which war?
In which war?
Which war was it that ended the idea of states' rights versus the federal government's control?
There's so many ways you could put this. Will we say Civil War?
You got it. So,
There we go.
federal government came in. They said you do not have the right to have that anymore. They seceded. All states lost the right to secede unless there's a majority given by the thing. Once you're in, you're in. And
there we go.
the government at the tippy top supersedes the one at the bottom unless explicitly not stated. That's what the 10th Amendment is about. So let's say that the federal government made cannabis illegal. Or they legalized that rent, like that rent limit, or like a maximum wage. No state could fight against that because that issue was already resolved 170 years ago. Or maybe even, let's see, 1860,
1865, yeah.
Yeah. Let's say, let's go 150 years ago, give or take.
Yeah.
And there you go. Issue solved. That's why I think the progressive states just need to be like, all right, if the government isn't gonna create a national healthcare system, why the fuck shouldn't California or Oregon or Washington or New York or Massachusetts or
Washington?
Yeah, exactly. Why the fuck don't you guys make like a state-based public healthcare option? And you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be cheaper. It's gonna be accepted everywhere, and everyone's just gonna stop buying the private insurance because it's gonna be cheaper for the fucking companies.
Yeah. And it's like lowering the price, but now you have, look at this customer base that just fucking grew. Look at
Okay. That's exactly right, Ian. You got that. Now, very interesting comment. Condor, you're under the assumption that JFK was assassinated because he wanted to reverse the federal bank not being backed by gold. The United States was on the gold standard until Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
That means that they never went off it during Kennedy's time. U.S. was still gold standard at that point. We only became a floating currency based on the price of oil starting in the mid-70s under Richard Nixon. Thus, that's not an issue. Kennedy was assassinated because there was a fucking crazy madman who wanted to assassinate Kennedy. If there's more to a reason to it, you can dig deep. But I love conspiracy theories, but they're just that. They're theories for fun. They're not theories to set up a fucking authoritarian windbag orange Cheeto man with shitty hair who puts a fucking pill in his ass so he doesn't go bald, who had shin splints and then is told got deferred from Vietnam to serve his country, and then says he's the fucking most pro-war president ever that's a fucking pacifist. No.
God damn, dude.
Listen, man. It's like you were saying about the spiciness. And I'm not being mean. This isn't meant to be mean. This is me just like throwing out my opinion of this is what I think.
It's like you're not. You're. Think you are, and I actually wholeheartedly agree with that statement. And the reason why JFK would have been assassinated, it's again, we can always make theories, we can always back those things up, but true to fact, we'd have to refer back to killer.
I would say probably the reason that JFK was assassinated, if I wanted to go as conspiracy theory, probably it is because he wanted to go to war with Russia, and the United States military thought, well, maybe a nuclear war isn't good for the consistency of the world. Let's take a step in. Let's maybe assassinate him. Or maybe it's because he wanted to go out in the open with, like, the CIA or something. Those fuckers didn't want to be, like, put out like that. George Bush wasn't having it. I'm talking about OG George Bush, who was the director of the CIA for, like, 10 to 12 years before he became the fucking vice president who fucking puppet-stringed a senile old actor who could speak well and talked about Back to the Future, apple pie, and fucking 1950s America.
Oh, Reagan.
Bush Sr., yeah. Bush Sr. was the CIA head director for many years. And his grandfather was an oil baron named Prescott who basically said, yeah, let's be a part of this OSS shit. And then, I don't know what the fuck happened with Bush Jr. Fucking drugged up idiot who didn't get to Vietnam in time, who just fucking happened to bumble his way as a cowboy into the fucking presidency. Well, really, you can blame fucking Florida and the Supreme Court. They chose that president. Could you imagine where we'd be if Gore was president? We wouldn't have been in Afghanistan for fucking 20 years. We'd have left in 2011.
There we go. That's a good point. We would have been on that climate change a conversation a while ago.
20 years ago. 20 fucking years ago, we would have been on top of this. You know where we'd be today? We'd probably be a lot more fucking stable.
Probably. But then again, as historians, the what ifs.
And that's the thing, is like, it's possibility. There's probably, it's sad to think we might live in hell world. We might live in the worst possible reality. But you can't think about that, because that's just going to make you a doomer and say, all right, I'm just going to smoke pot and I'm going to drink myself until I have liver disease, and then I'm going to take a bullet to my head because I can't stand the fact that the earth's going to shit. No, you got to be positive, drink your water, talk to your friends, join a community, and make a tribe for yourself to fix your trauma and to build a better life. And if you build a better life and you use that inspiration and help others, you're building a better community. When you build a better community, you build a better environment for people, a better world, and it's from those building blocks that we can make it a better place. Manufacture your own Green Deal. That's exactly it. Got to work on it. You got to work on yourself, and if you do that, and I'm not saying it's not important to help others and to work towards bigger things, but if you can do that and build that, that's going to create a fucking fantastic tree there. The roots are strong.
There we go. I like this. Sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been a very rambly episode. We've been zigzagging through topics.
Zigzagging, but they're all connected, and it's that's the most fantastic part. We couldn't have gone to one thing without this one and that one for the other.
Yes.
And we can always bring back the other topic.
Exactly.
For the other.
I just want to say that I'm really fucking hopeful. I'm realistic, but I feel like we're turning a corner here. There's some things.
I'm hopeful too.
There's some things that it's like, maybe I don't feel so good about, but you know what? I'm going to focus on what we can and should do better and do it. I do want solar panels as well. And you know what's even better? Have you seen some of these wind power things that are built like trees? And but they also have branches set up for birds to build nests and stuff. But they're like cups to build wind power. And then
okay. The birds don't get hurt, right?
No. So what it is you'd set up separate things for them, but then it's like plastic cups spinning around if it's windy, and if it's not, they can just sit around.
Cool. That's fucking cool.
Innovation plus imagination plus the drive to create it is what's going to get us out of this mess.
Yeah. Did you know Coldplay played its first concert in a long ass time only because they made a statement that said we cannot play or tour until venues will be secured to be environmentally friendly. And you know what they did?
What?
They had cyclists sign up to get on trainers, electric cycling trainers, and bike the entire concert to generate electricity out of their mechanical output of energy.
That's really fucking cool.
I want to do that so badly. And it'd be really cool if I could, power my own fucking house to do that, or power my own generator.
Right.
But it'd be so cool for that too. But I would love to do that.
Hey man, here's 3 things I recommend. We have water power, hydroelectric. We should be investing more in that. Let's do what the Chinese are doing. Let's invest in nuclear. Let's do salt isotopes that are much less radioactive and much more stable on a smaller scale to power cities. So instead of a mass... So you know San Onofre, right? The big nuclear power plant they closed down because of Fukushima blowing up and shit.
Was that in 2011?
2015 is when they shut down San Onofre. Basically, it was if you're driving from Orange County to San Diego, and you have the 2 things, and they're the
2 boobs.
Yes, the 2 boobs. So the two boobs nuclear station. So they shut that down. Instead, build a saltine thing that's about the size of like kind of a small plot that can power a neighborhood. Much longer, much more safely. And plus, we're this close to fission. If we can create fission, that means we have the power of the sun in our hands, and that's infinite energy. You can't profitize infinite energy. Because it's fucking infinite. It will exist forever.
It's not finite, so that has like, oh, it's worth this much. God, I hate the way we value things sometimes. Actually, I hate the way we value things a lot.
Well, that's exactly so. New chat thing. Part of what makes China the manufacturing superpower is we kind of just made them the world's recycling bin and major polluter.
Yeah, and they stopped taking our recycling too, and so we're just stuck on that.
We never fucking recycled. The recycling boom was, all right, let's have a separate bin. Where are we sending the separate bin? To the dump. Oh, we're gonna move the dump to another country.
Yeah.
And you know what I like? I like what the Finnish do, or the Norwegians. They're like, we're going to convert all our trash into energy. And now they have made an industry where they make money importing trash to make like they have power plants powered on trash. You know how much energy you could have if we just dug up all the shit we fucking buried under dirt over the past 100 years? That's a fuck ton.
If we did beach cleanups, street cleanups, traffic cleanups, and then took the dump that we created, we'd have a power for like centuries. I feel. I mean, this is just a guess, but holy fuck, we'd have so much fucking energy.
Absolutely, and it's just a matter of that perspective. But are we gonna do that? Well, let's fucking see. It's a matter of when and how long are we gonna wait before we put it into practice.
Oh, that bothers me so much.
Well, unfortunately, we are not in charge. So we have to take a step back, take a deep breath, and focus on what we can't control.
And speak up.
No question. And you want to know what's more powerful than one person? More people. Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Yeah. There you go. I was watching the new Jorge Gutierrez series. If you've ever seen The Book of Life, or like Manny Rivera, like El Tigre, or like he kind of has that really cool like art style where it's kind of like that Mexican pop, and like he just did like a Mesoamerican like fantasy adventure series, and like this whole thing is like, we are stronger together. If we come together, we make a fist of strength and protection against all that would stop us. And all I could think was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, that right there is punk as hell.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we have to focus on the positive here, Condor. Let's focus on the fact that there are people trying to actually make it positive, even though that is the practice that happened. I agree.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should talk about before kind of getting like hitting the edge, and I have to like wake up fairly early to get ready for my day tomorrow?
You know what? I think I feel the same way too. What time do you wake up at?
I'll probably get up at like 6 and just hop out of bed, do some stretches, do some meditation, make breakfast, take a shower. That's what I do.
Nice. I wake up at 5:45, and I have I want to do more things like that. I just we get up and then get ready and then we go.
All right.
It's urban lifestyle. We gotta go.
Great piece of advice. Do something for 30 days, it will become a habit. You have to make sure you do it consciously for 30 days, and then it will just become habitual. You can do that. It's just a matter of you just have to make sure you do it.
Make sure you do it, yeah.
Yeah. Once the 30 days, and it's just like, wow, it's weird that I missed that. Because there's things I gotta do too, like in the same prospect. Like probably after we finish the call and the stream, I'll probably be posting this to YouTube tomorrow, and then doing the upload to the podcast streaming sites. But no worries, that's in the future. Anyway, all right. With that, we gotta plug some shit. We gotta plug some noise. All right. First and foremost,
literally,
my boy, my boy, we are showing the thing. So if you want to follow Ian, you want to go to his Instagram, and that is undead_oceans, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
There you
It's where I
go.
post nonsense and frog pictures. Oh, that's me.
Yeah, you can see it on the stream, man. Now, another announcement is this. Would you like to announce your special thing?
Yeah. So on that Instagram, even if you keep it, oh no, like, he's got it open. So if you actually click on go down,
Okay.
little, oh maybe I'm just lagging. If you go down to, you'll see it on the side on the right side, more releases. So not there.
Okay.
No, not essential. Go back.
Okay.
Not yet, but very soon, right after this call, after I grab myself a snack. Yeah, so on here, I will be releasing new music, and yeah, I play guitar, and I will be releasing new music tonight. It's actually the release I'm really posting today was very unplanned. It was very like artistic in the moment, in a whim, you know, kind of thing. I will have a much larger planned and very thematic release coming up very soon, probably mid-November. It's, and I'm glad we actually spoke about this too. It's actually going to be about climate change.
There you
I've
go.
I've been working on a concept album about a narrative about a town that has been wiped out due to a storm because of climate change.
I will
And the
definitely be listening to that.
and it's taking on more of a soundtrack thing. It will be much less poppy than the previous stuff, and it'll be way more atmospheric. But we're still keeping some of the good old Ian elements with climaxes and some drums in some songs. But you'll see some that are just like, what did I just listen to?
There you go. So
I hope.
So once more, remember that you can find him on social media at undead_ocean, and then come to his Bandcamp page. Open Doors and Empty Rooms is the album and the page I found that you can see through his Instagram, but he's got more coming out real soon.
Literally very soon. I'm talking in a matter of minutes. And then in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Hard.
Any words of wisdom for our viewers here and future listeners?
Now that you bring it up, words of wisdom. Stay positive and take care of yourself, taking care of yourself and, knowing your own limits. The thing with the Great Resignation, a lot of things that Nick, you and I like to talk about is knowing your own limit, knowing to know how much to give of yourself before it's too much or you're not, or Absolutely. That you're not benefiting or growing from said thing, right? Whether that be work or maybe even something social. Maybe you're just in a bad relationship with friends or a bad romantic relationship. Know your limits, love yourself. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help.
Right. And for me, I'm gonna keep working on what I say. I'm usually pretty on top of that. I'm still a little feeling like I can't believe I said what the fuck I said earlier about that analogy, and whatever. Still feeling remorse. That is actually authentic. If anyone wants to come on my ass, I know probably no one's going to listen to this. And then when they hear it eventually, they're going to be like, oh, how dare you? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm actually really sorry about that. But nevertheless, yes, take care of yourself. Try not to get burnt out. And lastly,
here we go.
You are the most important person in your story. And while sometimes you might not feel that way, you have to give yourself the respect that you know you deserve that other people might not give you. And that you need to take care of yourself because ultimately you're the person you're going to be with the longest in your life.
100%.
And we can do this. And you can do this. And we're all going to make it through it as best we can. All right.
All right.
With that has been the guy in a... Feel bad to be... No. Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. Our viewers just doing that. So I'm happy you're here with us. I think both Ian and I really appreciate your company and chatting with us.
Heck yeah. Yeah. You actually helped guide the
yeah.
Captain Condor.
Yeah, Captain Condor.
So I appreciate that. It's pretty cool. It made it a lot more fun.
Absolutely. That's why I love having a chat with at least like 1 to 2 people. So there you go. He's happy. Now, this has been the Guy in a Basement podcast with your host and your Wagonmeister, Nick. I thank you again, Ian, for coming on. And
Hell
please
yeah.
check out his social medias. They'll be in the links below in the various uploads. Be sure to like the video if it's on YouTube. Share if it's on Twitch or that or so on. Follow me on both platforms. Check out my social media, which will be down there. And we will see you in the next one, whenever that may be. And probably coming up fast because I'm getting back into this. So, I hope everyone has a good time, and we will see you in the next video.
See ya.
And so forth. Bye.
Boom.